Good morning. So the mark of the wild beast, we find it in Revelation chapter 13. Here we have, first of all, a wild beast with 7 heads and 10 horns. Then we have another smaller beast. It's a dragon really, but it looks like a lamb, so it's pretending to be something it isn't. But this lamb-like creature insists on making an image to the first wild beast, so the image also has 7 heads and 10 horns. Now here's the problem. It insists that everybody, that's small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to be marked in the right hand or the forehead, so that they know that you're worshipping this image. And in the next verse it says, so that nobody can buy or sell unless he has this mark. Now verse 18, I'm going to read from the Amplified Bible, and it's small print. The last verse of Revelation 13. Here is room for discernment, a call for wisdom of interpretation. Let anyone who has intelligence or insight enough to calculate the number of the beast. Well, we know it's 666. So are we going to go around with 666 across our foreheads? Well, now, this mark of the wild beast is mentioned several times in Revelation. In chapter 14 and verse 9, it says, a third angel followed them, calling out in a loud voice, if anyone worships the beast and its image and receives its mark on his forehead or on his hand, he too will drink the wrath of God's anger. Revelation 16. So the first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth, and loathsome malignant boils broke out on those who had the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. Now there are others as well. But anyway, you get the gist. You do not want the mark of the wild beast, but we have to know what it is. So we'll go back to Revelation 13. Now we know from the book of Daniel that world powers, governments, kings are often represented by wild beasts. So the one in Revelation with 7 heads and 10 horns seems to represent all the political elements in the world. And the image to that political power would be something similar. Probably didn't do very much because images or idols don't actually do anything, but it would be similar. Watchtower says it's the UN, but you can have your own views on that. It seems to be political. So it appears from this that the mark is a political mark, and it's probably to do with loyalty to political systems. Are we looking to governments to solve our problems and bring peace, or are we looking to God's kingdom? Now, is the mark going to be literal? We need to go now to the book of Deuteronomy, and this is a positive mark. Deuteronomy chapter 6. These words that I have commanded you, that's the ones that God commanded the Israelites, shall be on your heart. You shall bind these as a sign on your hand. They shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Likewise, Deuteronomy 11:18 says, lay up these words of mine in your heart and in your soul, and you shall bind them as a sign on your hand and as a frontlet between your eyes. Now, were the Jews to take this literally? Jesus didn't, because he knew it wasn't to be literal. The scribes and Pharisees did. They wrote out little verses on paper and they put them in little containers and hung them on their foreheads, and they nailed them to the doorposts. Phylacteries they were called. Jesus wasn't very happy with that situation, but anyway, if we go now to Proverbs 3 and verse 3, this is why Jesus did not take it literally. It says, let steadfast love and faithfulness not desert you. Bind them about your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. And remember, our Father can read hearts, so whatever's written on our heart is open to him. Jeremiah 31. This is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel, declares the Lord. I will put my law within them. I will write it on their hearts. So it seems that this mark of the wild beast will be on people's hearts. Once again, will we trust in humans to solve our problems? Is that what we are wishing for, wanting? Or are God's commandments and the hope that God has given us for God's kingdom, is that filling our hearts? So why is the vision in Revelation so dramatic? It's because Jesus Christ, who gave this vision in signs to the Apostle John, wants to emphasize how important it is that our hearts are with God's kingdom and with God's commandments, and that we follow Jesus' laws and have those written on our hearts. Then when the Lord comes to read our hearts, he will find loyalty to him and no trust to put in humans instead. So God be with us, and God bless.